here I was, blaming AEW for feeding you chicken shit, knowing you mindless millennials would be eating it up as if it were chicken salad, when it's really been your fault all along.
Make chicken salad.
Hello and welcome to Wrestle Radio Australia, Australia's longest running professional wrestling podcast. My name is Lachlan Albert and I am here with a very special opportunity today. I'm getting to talk to one of the stars of Impact Wrestling and one of the future stars of wrestling as a whole, the youngest signed Indian talent in professional wrestling, Bhupinder Gujjar. Bhupinder, thank you so much for joining us here at Wrestle Radio Australia. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, and thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much for your time, and yeah, it feels great to be here.
Awesome. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Now, let's jump straight into it. One of the things you've got coming up very soon, I believe in, less than 48 hours, is going to be the Lucha Libre World Cup hosted by AAA. It's going to be a huge matchup. You're in a team representing the rest of the world, the only Indian competitor there. You've got a very interesting team in the form of Classy Ali and Rage, both representing other parts of the world that don't get represented much in wrestling. What does it mean to you to be able to represent such a huge population of people in that rest of the world category?
Oh yeah, it feels great because I never been to Mexico before. It's my debut in Mexico. It's a big stage for me, and especially representing India at international stage, Impact Wrestling or at AAA, Lucha Libre. Like all these were like big stages, big platforms. Really means a lot, and lots of people who really wanted to go there and represent their own community, their own country. But I think it's my hard work, and I'm lucky enough that I'm going there, and in less than 48 hours, I'm going to be there, and we're gonna have a big fight at Lucha Libre, like it's a World Cup. So I'm ready, mentally, physically, like everything. I'm ready to go.
Absolutely. And I tell you what, it is a huge first round matchup because stepping into AAA, you're going to be on home turf for your opponents in the form of Taurus and Pentagon Jr. and Laredo Kid, guys who are, kind of flag bearers for AAA. So not only are you stepping into Mexico for the first time, but into the home of your opponents. When you've got that kind of big match, that kind of pressure, does that put you in a situation where is there nerves associated with that, or does that make it more exciting to get into the ring?
Actually, I would say it's like a both. It's a nerves plus it's. I also feel like, okay, if I'm getting this big opportunity, then how can I give my 200%? How can I give my best? So that's my main. Always whenever I have any big match, either it's on Impact, or on Lucha Libre, the day I get to know like I'm facing all these legend wrestlers, super senior wrestlers, till since then, like I was preparing for this match, and I'm working on myself, and definitely it's a great opportunity, and it's especially in Mexico, and with these guys it's gonna be fun.
And I'm really excited to see the match. I'll be watching on FITE TV, especially because, there's not just your part of the World Cup, there's also the Women's World
Yeah.
Cup. So there's going to be, the rest of the world represented there with people like Taya Valkyrie. There's going to be Japanese wrestlers and Mexican wrestlers and American wrestlers. What do you think this kind of competition brings in terms of, is there different preparation for each match when you get such different styles? How does the style of your opponent change the way you go into these matches?
Yeah, it's definitely changed the way we wrestle because I have my own different style. Like it's a brawler plus I can do a little bit, you know, um, lucha stuff too, but these guys are like fully lucha wrestling. So we have to match their energy, and it's not about just me. If it's just a singles match, then I have my own, way of dealing with that situation. But now it's like a six-way tag. So it's gonna be, it's really sometimes put us in a pressure. But I think my teammate and I'm ready. And as you talk about like other communities, other wrestlers or other wrestlers from around the world, this is something big. This is something have never seen it before. Like it's a World Cup, so it means like people are coming from all over the world, and wrestlers are coming from all over the world, from globe. So it's gonna be a great experience, and definitely either we lose or win, but I know one thing for sure, that we're gonna learn so much from this loop.
Absolutely. And on top of that, the team that you are working with to represent the rest of the world is something that's really exciting. We're talking about Classy Ali and Rage, both from QPW, both representing Qatar. So it seems like, in the form of you coming from the Indian background and these two Qatari wrestlers, we're representing kind of a stage that isn't necessarily looked at all the time for its pro wrestling and the scene that's there, while we're constantly seeing how strong the fans in those parts of the world have their
Hmm.
feelings for wrestling, how much they love wrestling. Do you think that these kind of opportunities are going to spotlight the Indian wrestling scene as you continue? And do you think that the scene within India is ready for an explosion the way we've seen in places like the UK and Japan?
Uh, Personally, I believe like traveling to all these countries, definitely like people from Qatar and people from India, they are watching, they have their eyes on me, and the Qatar people are looking at Classy Ali, and they know like what's going on. So this the I would say people are ready to accept it, like in all these countries now. They really want to see like big promotions going to in India or Qatar or in other different countries. So all these wrestling matches or all these World Cup really helps to grow pro wrestling at a whole. Like these matches really gonna help, people really want to see a live wrestling, because I know lots of people from India always messaging me and asking me like when Impact Wrestling is coming back to India, and I'm not sure yet, but definitely we're gonna plan something. And like that's the craziness is like growing every single day, because now people they have someone they can relate, and then now I'm a kind of communicator, right? Like I can explain them what's going on in Impact Wrestling or what's going on like in the pro wrestling world, so I try to talk to as much as I can. And yes, these competitions, these World Cup really raise the bar, really raise the standard of pro wrestling in this business.
Well, I want to jump on something you said there, in like when Impact is going to go to certain places, because Impact is making its return to Canada for the first time in a few years. And not only that, heading back to Windsor, Ontario, somewhere that you're very familiar with. I believe you were studying there when Scott Demore kind of found you as a potential star. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. I When I moved first to Canada, I live in like Windsor. I still live in Windsor, but mostly on traveling nowadays. But yeah, Windsor is my hometown, and it's been like I used to watch like all these Impact stars like when I was training, like in 2018 or 2019, and then the COVID happens. Before that, it's like 2 or 3 years of gap now, but it's coming back home now. It's after so long, and I'm super excited and I'm ready for that. And actually, the whole town is ready. They know they love Impact Wrestling, and they know like Impact is coming back. So this show is going to be like a super crazy and big show. So yeah, like I got trained here. I live here, and people know me here. So it's a whole new experience for me. I'm somewhere like a little bit nervous too, because it's my hometown, and like you have all those nerves when you go out there. But I think that's a part of our job. You have to be ready wherever it goes. So yeah, it's going to be a huge
Absolutely.
successful show for sure.
Yeah, and having Sacrifice in Windsor is going to be, such a huge opportunity for so many people to shine, especially with, um, look, there's a bit of a storyline ongoing between you and Bully Ray, uh, and there's been kind of a lot of build up to that, especially with some stuff going on Impact TV, where Bully Ray's had to resort to being disqualified in order to get the upper hand on you. Uh, What is it like to be able to work with stars like Bully Ray, who have been around for so long, when, you're still in your 20s, still a young wrestler? How does it feel to work against someone with such a big established career?
First, I want to say like how I feel. Like whenever I go out there, I feel like I want to give my best because if I got this opportunity, then I have to prove myself. Especially working with big star like Tommy Dreamer, Bully Ray, these people have like loads of experience. They have like spent years in this business. So even I would say like from my last match, I have learned a lot. Like, I didn't have to do all these flashy stuff, all these flashy moves. It's just all about the emotion. Then, how do you perform in a ring? How do you make all these small things look like bigger things than just doing the moves in the match. Like it's a great thing to learn. I have learned like how to tell a story with your emotions, with your facial expressions. So working with all these guys are takes me to another level. Like I really feel now like if I have to wrestle anyone, like I feel like I'm ready because these guys really helps me a lot, like directly or indirectly. I'm learning even just going inside the ring with them. You're definitely gonna learn something, and even like promos when we do the promos, it's really boosts your confidence. So I feel like if I'm getting all these opportunity, I need to give my best.
Absolutely. And, speaking of the people you've worked with, your resume, considering that, Bhupinder Gujjar has only really been a name in Impact since 2022, the fact that you've had matches against guys like Bully Ray, guys like Moose, uh,
Hmm.
digital media title matches against Brian Myers and matches against Matt Cardona, it feels like you've worked with such a huge spectrum of stars. Is there anyone that you haven't been able to work with yet that you would really love to within Impact?
Yeah, actually, I have a couple of names like Josh Alexander. I really want to face him, and Speedball Mike Bailey and Kenny King. All these guys have like so much experience, and I really feel like when I'm going to get in ring with them, uh, definitely it's gonna take me to whole new level. Cause uh, I think just by getting into a ring with these people, they have like their own way of wrestling, and then you're gonna realize, okay, this is something new I'm learning, right? So I think I'm lucky enough that I'm getting a chance. I'm definitely working hard. I'm just not gonna say I'm lucky enough. I'm definitely working hard, like
Oh yeah.
day and day. I don't like to cheat with my schedule, so I'm getting out there and putting the work in. And yeah, Josh Alexander is my first preference. Like if I get a chance to work, I really want to face, the champ of our company.
Well, here in Wrestle Radio Australia, we've just been talking about Josh Alexander. As he's been down here for World Series Wrestling. But on top of that, he had an hour-long documentary recently through the Diary series on the Impact YouTube channel. And with some huge names on that series like Josh Alexander, Rosemary, Giselle Shaw, Trey Miguel, Jordan Grace, along with
Hmm.
that lineup is you. You're going to have an episode of Diary. How does it change your day to day to have a crew like that following you around, keeping an eye on what your day to day movements are in pro wrestling?
It definitely, you feel special. Like if people are, just chasing you, they wanted to record and they wanted to see what your life is like inside the ring, outside the ring. So definitely you feel great. For me, I didn't even realize it, when they were shooting and I was just in my own zone. I was like getting my matches back to back and lots of traveling. So um, I was super happy that it's finally happening, and I can tell my story like who Bhupinder Gujjar exactly is. So that's a great way of connecting to a people and telling people like what I got, who I am, and because there are lots of questions like people ask me, hey, do you born in Canada or like you are like really Indian, so many questions. So that's the great way to answer and tell them exactly like yes, I born in India and then I moved in Canada for my studies, and then I pursue my wrestling career. And there are very few people who knew that I used to do like kickboxing. I'm a national level kickboxer. So All these questions people have, the only answer is going to be in my autobiography coming in like April 4th, I would say. Yeah, April 4th it's coming out. So I'm waiting for that. I haven't even watched it, and I got a link to watch it, but I was like, I would just want to wait. The date's gonna come out. I just wanted to enjoy that. The buzz. It's coming, so I just wanted to feel it out. So yeah, I'm just waiting for that. And
Absolutely. So that'll be out on April 4. And when we're talking dates, I am going to throw a bunch of dates down right now. So April 4th on the Impact YouTube channel is going to be Bhupinder's episode of Diary. On top of that, in under 2 days, March 20th, 8 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, is going to be the first round matchup for the Lucha Libre World Cup happening in Guadalajara, Mexico. You can catch that one on FITE TV. Of course, just search for AAA on FITE TV and you'll be able to see the entire Lucha Libre World Cup. Not only that, if you're checking out FITE TV, you'll also be able to access Impact Wrestling, and that means you'll be able to access Sacrifice, one of the huge events that they put on, like we said, coming from Windsor, Ontario, Canada. That's happening on March 24th, and on March 25th, there is going to be another show with the fallout of Sacrifice coming again from Windsor, Ontario. So if you want to check that out, again, FITE.tv is your best friend. Head on over there. You can access the Impact Wrestling stuff there. Bhupinder, thank you so much for your time. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you.
thank you so much. And I just wanna cover it up. Like, if anyone miss any date, you can just go online, impactwrestling.com. You can get all these dates over there. And yes, don't miss out our match, which is going to be in a day, I would say, Triple A, Lucha Libre. We're gonna be there and we're gonna kill it over there. Believe me. So you guys definitely gonna love it. So don't miss out.
Bhupinder Gujjar, thank you so much for your time. Everyone listening, thank you for joining us here on Wrestle Radio Australia.
Thank you so much.